Hello. So we are on chapter 3 of the complex PTS recovery guide. Um, so this is dissociation and complex PTSD. Miss D, hello. Hope your Saturday is going well. So, in many cases, individuals who have been through traumatic situations discover that they are temporarily unable. Hey, Linda P. And he's always a good girl. Temporarily unable to recall what occurred, despite the fact that they are experiencing intense sensations of dread, pain, or grief. Those who had a more polarized experience report that they can recall the occurrence vividly, but feel disconnected from it as if it happened to someone else or that they were watching it on television. Hey, Linda. Dissociation is a general sow. Dissociation is a state of being cut off from oneself or one's environment. Intermittent memories, as well as being isolated from your environment for a lengthy period of time, might also be signs of this behavior. Additionally, it may be accompanied by disconnected feelings from your body. Severe post traumatic stress disorder and dissociation are symptoms of the mind's attempt to cope with an incredibly traumatic event. However, this occurrence does not result in the resolution of the trauma. Rather, it results in the emergence of uncomfortable and perplexing symptoms that interfere with the pursuit of a full life. Abuse or other complicated traumas can make it seem as though time has stopped and life has come to a standstill for someone who has endured or is now experiencing it. Yet the passage of time has not slowed, and life continues to unfold around them, whether or not they are prepared to keep up with it. Even months or years after the horrific events, they may find it difficult to gather the energy necessary to meet their basic demands for the rest of the day. Hey, Rebecca. Um, I find this to be true. Definitely having obligations for work and a continued set schedule kind of forces my hand a bit on these issues. So, um, but for those that don't work, having a set schedule, exercise if you can, if you're, whatever your physical situation may be, I find it helpful to do things on a set schedule. I I have other things going on that I I get very, very anxious when there's not a schedule or things can be planned. I Absolutely, Rebecca. It I think I think it relieves some anxiety from things, knowing that you have these things to do, right? So again, not a medical professional, not a yeah, stability is very important, Jicky. And stability, no matter what your situation may be. Um, Stability if you're in a bad situation, you still do whatever you can to keep some kind of schedule going for yourself. Good, good, Linda. So, in order to protect them from the severe pain, their thoughts are working nonstop. Amen to that. This response may even be able to temporarily eliminate the effects of their traumatic experiences from their own daily routines and physical selves, allowing them to seemingly go about their lives normally. There are no guarantees with this process. Triggers can appear anywhere, and the mind's dissociation technique can be perplexing and distressing in its own right. So maybe just a little bit of hey, spider dog. So I'm fortunate I do not suffer PTSD myself, but I get stressed with unexpected things. Cannot even imagine the stress for someone else who does. Yeah, yeah, Kathy. In the previous chapters, uh, we talk about how they're intertwined, and this is describing DID, but DID as it relates to complex PTSD, because complex PTSD builds all of these different um disorders within it. Wow, Kathy, that I don't even know what to say to that. It would be have to be difficult to live with if you have any kind of anxiety. So, how trauma rewrites the brain. Shout out to Senor Jefe and them. Hope you're doing good and enjoying things. When a person suffers from post traumatic stress disorder, they may experience dissociation when confronted with stimuli that remind them of the traumatic event that occurred. They tune out memories that are too painful to tackle head on and instead focus on anything else. Dissociation can be a useful coping tool in moderate conditions, but when it becomes a habitual response to everyday events, it can be dangerous. Therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder primarily consists of developing coping mechanisms to deal with the stressful situations without causing dissociation. Dissociation may be even more important in the treatment of complex PTSD than it is in the treatment of PTSD. Because of their lower emotional development and limited life experience, children are more susceptible than adults to participate in dissociative behavior. Children have limited or no power to exert influence over their circumstances. They are completely dependent on caregivers to meet their basic needs of food, housing, nurturing, and safety, among others. If active resistance isn't an option, they will learn that detachment is the most natural and safe response to abuse or traumatic occurrence. When a traumatic event is prolonged over an extended period of time, dissociation becomes a way of life. Once learned, it becomes a permanent aspect of one's psyche that continues to assert itself long after the risks that inspired it have passed. Childhood post-traumatic stress disorder is an example of a learning process gone awry due to the fact that the child was growing up in a dangerous environment. The effects of complex PTSD-induced dissociation might be extremely severe in some cases. The presence of fractured personalities is a common symptom. As the child grew older, it is possible that he or she developed various personality states that were called upon in abusive situations. They may endure into adulthood and be triggered by situations that are similar to and frequently tangentially related to the abusive event. These secondary abusive environment, These secondary personalities may cause the individual to act in ways that are out of character for their primary personality. And even things that they find disgusting in their primary personality, there are situations when these dissociative states can linger for days on end without the person remembering what they were doing at the time. Lessening the negative effects of dissociative episodes is an important component of dissociative disorder therapy. So, dissociation is one of the most important links between PTSD and complex PTSD and plays a crucial role in diagnosing and comprehending complex trauma. Therapeutic recovery is possible, but extremely challenging when the symptoms of CPTSD and dissociation come together. However, the dissociation creates further obstacles to accessing and healing resources. The individual must learn to have a new and productive relationship with their trauma from the past, present, and the future. The assistance of a qualified therapist makes this possible to do. Untangling the knots and prevent a person from enjoying their life fully require time and patience in a safe and loving atmosphere. She keeps a journal with each person having their own writing styles and they speak to each other. It's quite remarkable. Yeah, it's part of that coping mechanism that I it was talking about in the book. Yeah. And that's why when it gets so much more complex when the trauma is as a child, right? Your your neural pathways are so young and just forming, um, that it 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 almost permanently rewires your brain. It's like they told us, um, about TBI and PTSD, prolonged PTSD in combat. Talks about the prolonged effects rewiring your neural pathways, and I had to and still have to relearn how to access memories. Mine was long term memories. Yeah, it's sometimes a very frustrating process, Spider Dog, during therapy and stuff. It's just like my stuttering and not being able to figure out words sometimes. It it just one of those things. So the five types of dissociation. Chronic abuse can be re-experienced in your mind over and over again, putting a unique strain on your brain and body as a result. You learn to be continually worried and on edge as a result of this experience. You will almost certainly learn to live a grueling survivalist lifestyle as well. CPTSD is a highly confusing kind of post traumatic stress disorder. I've told you about my exposure therapy, right? I think I did. But they took my five worst experiences in combat, built a virtual reality world around that, and had to go 5 days a week to Emory University because they were funded by the VA to uh, do extreme exposure therapy. And and so over and over and over again, I was re-experiencing all of this, and man, it really did not work for me at all. It threw me into a state of just perpetual anxiety. So you learn to be continually worried and on edge as a result of this experience. You'll almost certainly learn to live a grueling. Oh, I already read that. The likelihood of this happening increases if your brain has been trained to operate on fear for an extended period of time and is constantly tuned in to the painful patterns you have encountered. Yeah, they went away from doing it that way because so many people had negative reactions. Um, but now they're more into group therapy and journaling. Um, I still have to journal every day and send it to my docs. So, hey, Seven Cities. Note, if you are currently living this way, it is possible that you have had to develop a strategy to keep yourself safe in an unsafe world in order to continue going forward. As a result of the jarring way you learn to see the world, you approach life in a radically different way than you did before. Right? I think anxiety would have been a serious a serious issue with you, that doing that at night. Let's see. Let me go back. I forgot what the words were. Okay, as a matter of fact, it is not uncommon common for dissociation to cause changes in one's awareness, sense of self perception, and recall or memory. Already talked about the recall and memory. Hey, Danny. This method of dealing with the trauma has a negative impact on your identity, your self perception, and the way you conduct your daily activities. For example, if your brain has learned to dissociate mistreatment that should be has learned to dissociate mistreatment that should be horrific may not elicit any emotional response at all. Five major ways in which the dissociation of psychological processes alters HACIDA alters the way a person perceives the experiences life are as follows. I tried journaling, just couldn't stick with it. Didn't like it at all. I also isolate, color, play Xbox, surround myself with art and cats, and aromatherapy. Yeah, my cats are my service animals. I look at them as, but and when the girls come over, it's a soothing time, and I do this. Um, I'm glad I came back into it, and um, Jeff and Scotto are amazing to um, hang out with almost every day. So, Cap, I didn't get the um, notice out until like 4:45. So, right, Seven Cities. That's I mean, hey, Justin. Yeah, I can't disagree. All right. Depersonalization. Think of this sensation as a considerable sense of alienation from your physical body and its activities. Some people claim to be completely cut off from it with no awareness of their own hands or faces. Derealization. If the world appears to be a dream or a simulation, you may be suffering from derealization. When you're in this state, the world seems strange or hazy. It may appear as if you're in a cinema seeing a movie thousands of miles away. Amnesia or forgetfulness. Dissociative amnesia, in contrast to the type of amnesia that most of us are familiar with from movies or television shows, is not characterized by a failure to recall personal information or the loss of entire identities. We've only been going like 25 minutes, Justin. But we're we're here either way. So relationships or histories. It is also not a case of routine forgetfulness. Dissociative amnesia is characterized by forgetting of a traumatic incident or unpleasant blocks of time. You could lose track of anything from critical events to entire months or even years. The amnesia frequently occurs in microsegments and in the present time. Your brain attempts to shield you by preventing you from participating in uncomfortable conversations, leaving you confused and unable to keep up with dialogue exchanges. Yeah, you have mentioned, and we've talked about it before, Spider Dog. Absolutely unrelated to medication, Jicky. That now the medication amnesia thing is a whole different story. I understand the sensation cap, like you're just behind your eyes, kind of seeing through your eyes into the world. That's kind of like the dissociative feeling of um, either standing behind yourself or floating just above yourself, observing the world like the movie. So, disorientation in one's own identity. It is possible that you are suffering dissociative identity confusion if you have a sense that you don't know who or what you are, what you like, or what's important to you. To put it another way, your perception of yourself has evolved significantly. YouTube says I'm almost an hour late when you started. I started at 5:30. Hey, Jess. Let's see. Yeah, the sleep paralysis sucks. I'm always on my back, like laying like I'm a corpse, unfortunately. But absolutely. Let's see. Risky conduct, such as substance abuse or sexual acting out, for example, can elicit feelings of pleasure in persons who are dealing with identity confusion, even when they would typically avoid such behavior or find it off putting. Joey Simpson. 5. Alteration of one's identity confusion. It's possible that you have a strong impression that one aspect of yourself is substantially different than the true you. The majority of the time, this occurs subtly, yet the alterations are obvious. People may notice a sudden shift in the tone of your voice and the manner in which you speak. Your body language and facial muscles may come off as strange or out of character, depending on what you're saying. There's a part of you acting in ways that aren't consistent with your true self. Dissociation can be thought of as a mental barrier that separates two people. Your brain likes that you remain in a secure environment, free of the weight of fear, guilt, and shame. When life becomes too overwhelming, dissociative symptoms might provide a temporary reprieve. Complex post traumatic stress disorder, dissociation, on the other hand, uses walls such as minimizing, denial, and suppression to keep trauma at bay. I've done that too, Spider Dog. Um, and waking me up was a hazardous occupation for a time. Uh, if y'all will stick with me for like 5 minutes, I just noticed the sun is down. I don't want to miss my 30-minute window there. So just stick with me. I'm going to do things in English this time if you can hear me. So, and I don't sing it when it's in English. That way you can hear it. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to kindle the Hanukkah light. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who performed miracles for our forefathers in those days at this time. Sorry, I forgot to turn my camera off. Is the sleep paralysis total as a no? Yeah, Cap. It's like you're surrounded, for me, a million tons of bricks all around you. You can't move at all. I don't know if Jeff is the same way, but that's the way I feel. I feel like the weight of the world is on me. Here, I'll put this up on Discord for the fourth of the 8 crazy nights. I just wanted to do it at least once in English so you knew what it was saying. Hey VOP, by the way. All right. Let's see. So Marlene Steinberg and Maxine Schnall. I know somebody who wouldn't read a study made by 2 women Jews, authors of The Stranger in the Mirror, explain that frequently a ping pong game of personality states is playing out in the mind of a person who is managing this sort of dissociation, regulating the way that we think, remember, and express their feelings. Now, I get you, VOP. I feel better doing the prayers singing, by the way, and in Hebrew. I could pull out my Yiddish dictionary and do it that way. That my great grandfather used to do all his prayers in Yiddish. Understand that for the most part, when your brain protects you by using this type of dissociation, it may not be immediately apparent. It will be vital for you to work with a therapist in order to better comprehend what is going on. All right, we'll go through the okay, Cap. We'll go through the workbook just like we did on the other chapters. Just run through it when you know. To become less influenced by traumatic events and to stop them from occurring in your mind, you must begin to think about them directly. Since traumatic recollections are not stored in your long term memory, they pop into your head when you don't want them to. Processing trauma memories requires deliberately recalling events, allowing yourself to reflect on those events allows your brain to transform them into long-term memories. However, this exercise may cause immediate distress. Consider whether now is a time to try to process your traumatic experiences. So ask yourself the following: is the trauma gone? Are you still in danger? It's difficult to adjust to traumas that haven't stopped or aren't fully over. How dedicated are you to change? And how much does CPTSD affect your life? So, with a broad audience, I don't think I'm going to go through these. Um, I'll just leave them at that, and we can hit. Um, I'll finish up these bullet points. What is stopping you from recalling trauma memories, and what is happening in your life now? Is your life currently stable? It's important to note that working through trauma memories may not be the best choice during times of high stress or change. Reconciling events. Every traumatic event has a beginning, middle, and end. To process trauma, it is best to go through each event one by one, with preferably with a therapist. I don't suggest doing this on your own. You could try writing about it. We've discussed journaling, or telling the story to a trusted person. We've talked about group therapy. So at first, it may be the memory about the trauma may be disorganized or lacking in details. As you reflect on what happened, you may notice that the story becomes less distressing and the details become clear. This is the exposure therapy we discussed. Um, it takes the forms from, hey, Wingspan, um, from what I discussed that I had to do in the beginning. Oshin. Oh, I do completely agree with you, Oshin, that the therapist to guide you through is is absolutely key. I'm supposed to start EMDR in the middle of January, so I'm uh I'm hopeful on that. I want to get the as many pharmaceuticals out of my system as I possibly can. Um, Feeling safe and in control of your trauma memories is critical. If you prefer writing over speaking, use the questions in the exercise as journal prompts. If thinking about some aspects of what happened is too distressing, try thinking about the less distressing aspects first. Hey, priestess. So, again, it's important to keep the following in mind: only work with one memory at a time. If you write it down, the memory that is too distressing, you can always rip it up later. Take the time to reflect on what happened from your perspective. Discussion or writing prompts for each traumatic event include what happened and why, what did you do, and what did the others do. What were you thinking or feeling at the time? What was the hardest part? What did you feel? When did you feel safe? Which events affected you the most? Many people say they thought they were going to die or responsible for what happened. What new knowledge do you have now? Were there any unexpected or unanticipated benefits from the experience? Yeah, no, Spider Dog. I remember our conversations about it. Um, I was already scheduled for it, but it made me very hopeful for it. So, as you answer each question, you may not fully grasp what happened or have a negative opinion of yourself. This is normal. You might find that you need more information to complete the picture or clarify any misunderstandings. As an example, studying the details of an event may cause you to conclude that while horrible things do happen occasionally, they are not common. It is eye movement. Spider Dog, can you help me? It's the latest club drug. Eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. It is a form of psychotherapy that aims to treat psychological trauma and its associated symptoms, such as PTSD. Uh, you okay? Remember, these prompts are only suggestions for future examination. Take several writing or speaking sessions to notice any effect. Attempting this exercise may cause you to think about trauma memories more frequently for a few days. However, this is a good sign as it is showing your brain's attempt to understand what happened. I think Oshin and Spider Dog went through it. I'm not. I'm. I'm just scheduled for it. So, and that's chapter 3. I'm going to try to hit on PTSD and complex PTSD daily, um, and then do my other stuff. Um, Maybe every other day if I'm not too busy every day. But I think helping and we get a lot of good conversation out of these, and hopefully it gets people thinking about therapy and moving forward. I know. Yeah, freedom fighter. Me, I think it was me and Jeff. We're talking about we don't know whether it's the ADHD, the TBI, PTSD, whatever. It's just that we can check off the boxes, and there's just too much to list that could cause us to do things like that, or just be like squirrel. But I do that a lot. Yeah, they do. I had to the doctor I went to that diagnosed me with the other things to include ADHD. It was it was eye opening to what the VA will lump all into one thing, and then even the PTSD symptoms they they want to hide the TBI shit uh, within that too. So, any questions, comments, alibis? Otherwise, yeah, they do overlap, but when yours was different than mine because mine were all through and through um, TBI, so they just wanted to put it all off on TBI, and it was a whole lot of MRIs and stuff. St. No CC call, damn it. It is from the Complex PTSD Recovery Guide, a practical guide to understanding and healing from trauma. It is by, I think it's in the title of this. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, by Damien Blair. Yeah, that tracks, Jeff. I mean, I go ahead, VOP. Type away, type away. Do, 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 do. Ooh, I know what we can do whilst we wait. Ah, that, that how much data went in over? I know my solid state will. Oh, yeah, I bet he did VOP. Good grief. Does he still go? Oh, man. AM squared. Oh, wow. That is good news. Yeah, my external drive is super fast. It has to be that solid statedness. All right, here, let's do one of these before we go. I am happy for you. I bet you cried. Do that. Oh, I must have been watching Todd. Yep. Can y'all can y'all hear that? Oh, there it is. I forgot there's
85 southbound at 9 on a red Cadillac towards 28. Charles Robert Boyd, 4104. Charles Robert Boyd.
Yeah, Rebecca.
Still running left.
They're almost as bad as Arkansas.
Still riding left lane right now. Still about 8 miles an hour. Go ahead and start with another unit. Running left lane. Moving on to right lane. Still 1 south. Alright, approaching the 6 marker. He's still in the right lane. About 7 miles an hour. 7 pulled over yet.
10-4, clear.
Still running on the right lane. Approaching the 6 marker. Still ain't pulled over yet.
10-4, clear. Still road.
Hey, kiddo, you're going to have to rewind.
Alright, okay, she's going to be following a Dodge Charger. He's in the exit lane at the 6 southbound. Still haven't pulled over yet.
10-4, clear.
Alright, we're still slow road getting off at 6 in the right lane. Still slow road getting off at 6 in the right lane. He's following a Dodge Charger.
Oh, he's down around LaGrange, Georgia.
Yeah, West Point route.
10-4, west. We're on the line now. Big clear.
T-Word. Making a right turn on Kia Boulevard. Right turn on Kia Boulevard. Still slow speeds.
Love you, Jimbo. What's up, Trump said.
Then you're about to turn left right here at Kia Parkway. Turning around, making a U-turn. Today. Going home today. Probably get some on 85, some on 85. Going home today. Today.
10-4, clear. Hey.
Whoa. That seemed like a terrible place to pit him with that rig right there. 10 more feet and he would have been hit. But I'm always second guessing these guys. Best of you too, Trump.
10-4, clear.
Driver, show me your hands. Driver, show me your hands. Driver, show me your hands.
All right. That covered that one. The bad thing about Georgia State Patrol is they don't have body cams. The only thing they have is their stinking dash cams. But that was Troup County. I think that's one of the counties that Auditor Jesus sued. But anyway, that is all I have until Hill Pirate goes on. So don't rage quit. Yeah, Jimbo, I don't know what the deal is with those guys in Alabama. He's Jeff's working on the intro now. You know we can't reveal our time until it's time. But I'm sure we'll get a dang straight. Puts a lot of work into the intros. Secret squirrel stuff. Well, you know, nothing can be on the top of the hour or half hour. So Mrs. Metcalf. That's the only thing I could do to put it above the frame of the window. So, and I want, it's supposed to be the light. So that's the only thing I had that I could put it up there. So, but I mean, I might as well use them. But when I buy ammo, I have another storage place for it, and so I have a friggin' boxes and boxes of those things. Okay, Trump said, just as long as you interacted with me. So, all right, y'all. I'll see y'all in a little bit.